I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. The world around you hasn't changed. The people, the circumstances, the challenges, they all remain the same. But suddenly, something shifts. You change the way you look at things. And in that moment, everything changes. The way we perceive the world around us is not just a passive experience. It is an active, creative force that shapes our reality. Every single day we wake up and look at life through a lens that has been constructed by our past experiences, beliefs, emotions, and conditioning. This lens determines how we interpret events, how we respond to challenges, and ultimately, what kind of reality we experience. If you see the world as a hostile place, your mind will filter in evidence that supports that perspective. If you see it as abundant and full of opportunities, you will naturally gravitate towards experiences that confirm this belief. This is not just philosophy, it is neuroscience. Our brain is designed to seek patterns and reinforce what it already believes to be true. This is known as confirmation bias. Once we adopt a perspective, whether consciously or unconsciously, our brain begins filtering in information that aligns with it, while ignoring or downplaying anything that contradicts it. This is why two people can look at the exact same situation and interpret it in completely different ways. One person sees failure, another sees a lesson. One sees rejection, another sees redirection. It all depends on the lens through which they are viewing reality. Neuroscience has shown us that our thoughts and perceptions create neural pathways in the brain. The more we think a certain way, the stronger these pathways become. It's like carving a path in a dense forest. Walk the same trail over and over and it becomes clear and easy to follow. This is why changing the way we look at things isn't always easy. Our brains are wired to default to familiar patterns, even if those patterns are limiting or self-sabotaging. But the good news is that neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, allows us to change these patterns. When we consciously choose to shift our perspective, we begin to build new neural pathways that support a different way of seeing the world. Every experience we have is filtered through our emotions. If we are in a state of fear, anxiety, or stress, our perception of reality is clouded by those emotions. The brain, in a survival state, narrows its focus, looking for threats and reinforcing negative perspectives. On the other hand, when we are in a state of gratitude, love, or excitement, the brain expands its awareness, allowing us to see possibilities that were previously hidden. This is why two people in the same external situation can have vastly different internal experiences. One is operating from a state of stress, while the other is operating from a state of empowerment. Quantum physics also supports the idea that perception shapes reality. The famous double-slit experiment demonstrated that the mere act of observation changes the behavior of particles. This suggests that consciousness is not just a passive receiver of reality, but an active participant in shaping it. When we shift our perspective, we are not just changing our internal experience, we are interacting with the very fabric of reality in a way that alters the outcome. Beyond science, this concept is evident in everyday life. Think about moments when you changed your perspective on something and as a result, your entire experience shifted. A situation that once seemed like a setback suddenly became an opportunity. A relationship that seemed broken was transformed by a change in understanding. A challenge that felt impossible became an exciting adventure, simply because you looked at it differently. The external world did not change, but the way you perceived it did, and that made all the difference. Our subconscious mind plays a major role in shaping our perception. From childhood, we absorb beliefs from our environment, parents, teachers, and society. These beliefs operate beneath the surface, influencing how we see the world without us even realizing it. If someone was raised with the belief that success is difficult and reserved for a select few, they will unconsciously perceive obstacles as proof that they are not meant to succeed. If another person was raised with the belief that challenges are stepping stones, they will see the same obstacles as opportunities for growth. The subconscious mind does not question these beliefs, it simply operates from the programming it has received. The key to shifting our perception is becoming aware of these unconscious programs and consciously choosing new ones. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process. When we intentionally visualize a different perspective, we activate the same neural circuits as if we were experiencing it in real life. Studies have shown that mental rehearsal can create actual changes in the brain, strengthening new neural pathways and making it easier to adopt a different way of seeing things. This is why elite athletes, performers, and successful individuals often use visualization techniques. They are training their brain to perceive reality in a way that aligns with their desired outcomes. Gratitude is another effective way to shift perception. When we practice gratitude, we train our brain to focus on what is good rather than what is lacking. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, rather it means reframing them. Instead of seeing difficulties as roadblocks, gratitude allows us to see them as necessary parts of our growth. This shift in perception changes how we feel, how we respond, and ultimately the results we experience. If we want to change our reality, we must first change the way we look at it. Every thought, every belief, every emotional response contributes to the way we perceive the world, and that perception is what shapes our experience. Understanding this gives us the power to consciously choose a new way of seeing, and in doing so, we begin to change everything. Where you place your attention is where your energy flows. This is not just a metaphor, it is a fundamental principle of both neuroscience and quantum physics. The human brain is a complex network of neurons, constantly firing electrical signals, forming connections, and creating pathways that shape our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Each time we focus on something, whether it's a thought, an emotion, or an external event, we activate specific neural circuits in the brain. The more we focus on something, the stronger those neural pathways become, reinforcing the way we think, feel, and experience reality. Imagine walking through a field of tall grass. The first time you take a particular path, it is difficult to push through. But the more you walk that same route, the more the grass gets pressed down, making the path easier to follow. The brain works in the same way. The more you focus on a particular thought or perspective, the more deeply ingrained it becomes in your neural circuitry. This is why repetitive negative thinking can create patterns of anxiety, stress, or pessimism, while consistent focus on positive, constructive thoughts can rewire the brain for optimism, resilience, and success. Energy is not just a vague concept. It is a measurable force that influences every aspect of our lives. The human body emits electromagnetic fields, and the heart and brain generate electrical signals that can be detected beyond the body itself. Studies in neuroscience have shown that brain waves change depending on where we direct our attention. When we are stressed, fearful, or focused on problems, the brain produces high-frequency beta waves, which are associated with heightened alertness, but also anxiety and survival mode thinking. When we shift our attention to states of gratitude, love, or creativity, the brain produces lower frequency alpha and theta waves, which are linked to relaxation, intuition, and expanded awareness. The reticular activating system, RAS, in the brainstem plays a crucial role in filtering the vast amount of information we receive every second. It determines what gets through to our conscious awareness and what is ignored. This filtering system is directly influenced by where we place our focus. If someone believes that opportunities are scarce, their RAS will filter the world in a way that supports this belief, causing them to overlook possibilities that are right in front of them. On the other hand, if someone programs their mind to seek out abundance and opportunity, their RAS will highlight information that aligns with this perspective, making it easier for them to recognize and act on new possibilities. The quantum field operates on a similar principle. At the subatomic level, particles exist in a state of potentiality until they are observed. This suggests that our consciousness is not merely a passive observer of reality, but an active participant in shaping it. When we direct our attention toward a specific outcome, we collapse the wave of possibilities into a defined reality. This is why intention and focus are so powerful. What we give our energy to becomes more real in our experience. Emotions amplify the effects of attention. When we focus on something with strong emotion, we reinforce it in the brain even more deeply. This is why traumatic memories are so vivid and why positive emotional experiences are so impactful. The brain and body respond more powerfully to emotionally charged focus. If we dwell on fear, worry, or stress, we signal to our body that we are in a state of threat, triggering physiological responses that reinforce these emotions. But when we place our attention on gratitude, joy, or purpose, we activate biochemical changes that support health, resilience, and well-being. Meditation and mindfulness practices demonstrate how powerful attention can be. When individuals train themselves to focus their awareness, whether on their breath, a specific intention, or a positive emotional state, They develop the ability to control their mental and emotional states. Research shows that long-term meditators have different brain structures than non-meditators, with increased gray matter density in areas associated with attention, emotional regulation, and self-awareness. This suggests that by consistently directing our energy and attention toward positive, intentional thoughts, we can physically reshape our brain and our perception of reality. The human brain is wired for efficiency. It constantly seeks to automate processes, making it easier for us to navigate the world without having to consciously think about every action or decision. This is why habits form and why we often find ourselves reacting to situations in the same way, even when we wish to change. When we repeatedly engage in the same thought patterns, emotional responses, and behaviors, we reinforce neural circuits that make those patterns automatic. This is what creates a neural loop, a cycle of thinking and acting that becomes ingrained in the subconscious mind. The challenge is that many of these neural loops are based on past experiences, conditioning, and beliefs that may no longer serve us. If someone has spent years believing that they are not good enough, their brain has developed strong neural connections that support this belief. Each time they face a challenge, their subconscious mind automatically retrieves this ingrained belief, triggering emotions of doubt and insecurity. This happens without conscious effort because the brain is simply following the established neural pathways. Neuroscientists have discovered that the brain's plasticity allows it to rewire itself. This means that while old neural loops can feel automatic and difficult to change, they are not permanent. The key to breaking free from these repetitive patterns is to consciously interrupt them and introduce new ways of thinking. When we repeatedly challenge an old belief, thought pattern, or emotional response, we weaken the neural pathways that support them. At the same time, when we introduce new, empowering perspectives and reinforce them consistently, we begin to create new neural connections that can eventually become the brain's default patterns. Awareness is the first step in breaking the neural loop. Most people operate on autopilot, unaware of how deeply their thoughts and emotions are conditioned by past experiences. They react to situations in predictable ways, not realizing that their reactions are based on old programming rather than present moment reality. By becoming conscious of these automatic patterns, we create the space needed to intervene and make a different choice. Mindfulness practices such as meditation and self-reflection help bring these subconscious loops into conscious awareness, allowing us to observe them without immediately acting on them. One of the most effective ways to interrupt a neural loop is through pattern disruption. This involves doing something unexpected or radically different from what the brain is used to. For example, if someone typically responds to stress with anxiety, they can train themselves to pause, take deep breaths, and shift their focus instead of automatically reacting with worry. By repeatedly making this conscious shift, the brain begins to form new connections, making it easier to respond in a more constructive way over time. Emotions play a significant role in reinforcing neural loops. When we experience a strong emotion, whether positive or negative, it signals to the brain that something important is happening. This is why traumatic experiences are so deeply ingrained in memory, and why highly emotional experiences, such as moments of joy, excitement, or deep love, leave lasting impressions. If we want to break free from old emotional patterns, we must become aware of how emotions are fueling our neural loops. By consciously generating new emotional states, such as gratitude, love, or excitement, we can override old emotional conditioning and rewire the brain to associate new emotions with different situations. Repetition and consistency are crucial in breaking old neural patterns and forming new ones. The brain does not change overnight. It requires sustained effort and reinforcement. When we consistently introduce new thoughts, beliefs, and emotional responses, the brain begins to strengthen the neural pathways that support them. Over time, these new patterns become the default, just as the old ones once were. Visualization is a powerful tool in this process. By mentally rehearsing a new way of thinking or responding, we activate the same neural circuits that would fire if we were actually experiencing it. This helps accelerate the rewiring process, making it easier to adopt new patterns in real life. Another effective method for breaking neural loops is changing the external environment. The brain is highly influenced by its surroundings, and certain triggers can reinforce old patterns. If a person is trying to shift their mindset but constantly surrounds themselves with people, places, or situations that reinforce the old way of thinking, change becomes more difficult. By altering the environment, whether by changing routines, engaging with new social circles, or exposing oneself to new experiences, the brain is forced to adapt and create new connections. Emotions play a crucial role in shaping our reality because they serve as the bridge between our thoughts and our experiences. Every thought we think generates a biochemical reaction in the brain, which then produces a corresponding emotion. That emotion in turn influences the way we act and the decisions we make, which ultimately create our reality. This cycle repeats itself, continuously reinforcing our perceptions and beliefs. If we want to change our reality, we must first change the emotions we associate with it. The human brain does not distinguish between a real experience and an imagined one. Studies have shown that when we vividly visualize an event with strong emotions, the same neural circuits fire as if we were actually experiencing it in real life. This is why memories, whether joyful or painful, have such a powerful impact on our present behavior. When we recall an emotional event from the past, we relive it in the present moment because our brain produces the same neurochemistry that it did when the event originally occurred. This means that if we continue to dwell on past traumas, failures, or disappointments, we keep our body and mind stuck in that same emotional state, preventing us from moving forward. Our emotions act as an internal feedback system, constantly signaling to us what we are attracting into our lives. When we feel stressed, anxious, or fearful, our body enters a state of survival, activating the fight or flight response. In this state, our focus narrows, and we become reactive rather than creative. The brain prioritizes short-term survival over long-term growth, making it difficult to see opportunities or solutions. On the other hand, when we cultivate emotions such as gratitude, joy, and love, we shift our brain into a state of expansion. The prefrontal cortex becomes more active, enhancing creativity, problem-solving, and higher-level thinking. This is why people who maintain an optimistic and grateful mindset tend to attract more positive experiences. They are literally programming their brain and body to operate at a higher frequency. The process of rewiring our emotional responses starts with awareness. Many people operate unconsciously, reacting to situations based on deeply ingrained emotional patterns rather than conscious choice. They wake up feeling the same emotions, thinking the same thoughts, and repeating the same behaviors day after day, reinforcing their existing reality. If they feel unworthy, they will unconsciously seek out experiences that validate that feeling. If they feel like a victim, they will interpret situations in a way that confirms their victimhood. These patterns can be so deeply ingrained that they feel automatic, but they're not set in stone. By bringing awareness to our habitual emotional states, we gain the power to change them. One of the most effective ways to shift emotional states is through intentional practice. Gratitude, for example, has been shown to rewire the brain by strengthening neural pathways associated with positivity and well-being. When we focus on what we appreciate, we train our brain to seek out more reasons to feel grateful, creating a self-reinforcing loop of positive emotion. The same principle applies to other high-frequency emotions such as love, compassion, and joy. The more we practice feeling these emotions, the more natural they become. Breathing techniques and meditation are powerful tools for regulating emotional states. When we take deep, intentional breaths, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms the body and reduces stress. Meditation helps us observe our emotions without becoming attached to them, allowing us to break free from unconscious emotional reactions. Through consistent practice, we can train ourselves to shift out of negative emotional states more quickly and replace them with empowering ones. The body also plays a crucial role in emotional conditioning. Every emotion we experience is stored in the body as a physiological response. When we feel stressed or fearful, our muscles tense, our posture changes, and our breath becomes shallow. Over time, these physical patterns become habitual, reinforcing the associated emotional state. This is why movement practices such as yoga, tai chi, or even simple stretching can help release stored emotional tension and create space for new emotional experiences. By changing our posture, breathing, and physical movements, we send new signals to the brain, telling it that we are in a different emotional state. The subconscious mind is the operating system that runs nearly 95% of our daily thoughts, behaviors, and emotional responses. It is a vast storage of all our past experiences, beliefs, and conditioned patterns, working automatically beneath the surface of our conscious awareness. Unlike the conscious mind, which processes information analytically and deliberately, the subconscious mind operates through repetition. This is why change often feels difficult, because even when we consciously want to shift something in our lives, our subconscious programming continues to run on autopilot, reinforcing old patterns. From early childhood, the subconscious absorbs information like a sponge. It records experiences, emotional reactions, and societal conditioning, forming the blueprint for how we see ourselves and the world. If, for example, a person grows up in an environment where they're constantly told they're not good enough, their subconscious mind accepts this as truth. Over time, this belief influences their decisions, their self-image, and the opportunities they allow themselves to pursue. Even if they consciously try to believe otherwise, their subconscious programming will continue to dictate their actions unless it is intentionally rewritten. The subconscious does not distinguish between reality and imagination. This is a powerful realization because it means that we can reprogram our subconscious mind by consistently feeding it new, empowering thoughts and emotions. When we visualize a desired outcome with strong emotional intensity, the subconscious mind begins to accept it as a real experience. This is why elite athletes use mental rehearsal before a competition. They train their subconscious to align with their desired performance, creating neural pathways that support success. Repetition is one of the most effective ways to rewire the subconscious. Since the subconscious mind learns through patterns, the more frequently we repeat a thought, affirmation, or visualization, the more deeply it becomes embedded. This is why negative self-talk is so damaging. When we repeatedly tell ourselves we are not good enough, our subconscious mind reinforces that belief, making it a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the same principle works in the opposite direction. When we repeatedly affirm our worth, potential, and capability, the subconscious begins to align with this new narrative. The language we use plays a significant role in shaping subconscious beliefs. Words carry energy and meaning, and when spoken with conviction, they have the power to shift our internal programming. Affirmations are a tool for reprogramming the subconscious mind by replacing limiting beliefs with empowering statements. However, for affirmations to be effective, they must be felt, not just recited. The subconscious responds more powerfully to emotions than to words alone. When an affirmation is repeated with genuine feeling, whether it be confidence, excitement, or gratitude, it creates a stronger imprint on the subconscious. Emotional intensity acts as a catalyst for subconscious programming. Strong emotional experiences, whether positive or negative, leave a lasting impact on the subconscious mind. This is why traumatic experiences are difficult to forget, and why moments of deep joy and love are etched into memory. By consciously generating positive emotional states, we accelerate the process of rewiring subconscious patterns. Gratitude, for example, is a powerful emotion that rewires the brain for abundance. When we consistently focus on gratitude, our subconscious mind begins to filter reality through a lens of appreciation rather than lack, attracting more experiences that reinforce this emotional state. The subconscious mind is also highly influenced by the state of relaxation. In everyday waking consciousness, the brain operates mostly in high-frequency beta waves, which are associated with active thinking and problem-solving. However, the subconscious is most receptive when the brain shifts into lower frequency alpha and theta states, which occur during meditation, hypnosis, or moments of deep relaxation. This is why visualization and affirmations are most effective when practiced in a calm, meditative state. By slowing down brain activity, we bypass the analytical conscious mind and directly access the subconscious, allowing new ideas and beliefs to take root more easily. Our environment and daily routines reinforce subconscious programming. Every experience, interaction, and habit sends signals to the subconscious mind, shaping its perception of reality. If we are constantly surrounded by negativity, whether in the form of media, toxic relationships, or stressful environments, our subconscious absorbs these influences, reinforcing patterns of fear, doubt, or limitation. On the other hand, when we intentionally curate our environment to support growth, inspiration, and positivity, our subconscious aligns with those inputs, making personal transformation more effortless. Breaking subconscious patterns requires conscious intervention. One of the most effective ways to disrupt limiting subconscious programming is through self-awareness and pattern recognition. When we catch ourselves falling into habitual negative thinking or emotional reactions, we create an opportunity to change the response. Instead of automatically accepting a limiting belief, we can question it, reframe it, and replace it with a more empowering perspective. Over time, this conscious effort weakens old patterns and strengthens new ones. Visualization is another powerful technique for subconscious reprogramming. The subconscious mind responds vividly to mental imagery, and when we repeatedly visualize ourselves succeeding, thriving, and embodying the qualities we desire, we prime our subconscious to accept this as reality. The key is to engage all the senses, seeing, hearing, feeling the desired outcome as if it has already happened. This level of immersive visualization activates the same neural pathways as an actual experience, reinforcing the subconscious belief that the new reality is attainable. The people we surround ourselves with also influence our subconscious programming. Human beings are highly impressionable, and our subconscious absorbs the energy, beliefs, and habits of those around us. If we constantly engage with individuals who doubt, complain, or operate from a place of fear, our subconscious will reflect those patterns. However, when we surround ourselves with those who inspire, uplift, and believe in possibility, our subconscious adapts to this elevated frequency, making it easier to align with growth-oriented thinking. The energy we emit through our thoughts and emotions directly influences the reality we experience. Every thought carries a frequency, and that frequency interacts with the quantum field that surrounds us. Just as radio waves transmit signals that are picked up by a receiver, our thoughts and emotions act as signals that shape the experiences we attract. When we repeatedly focus on specific thoughts, whether consciously or unconsciously, we send out a consistent vibrational signal, and the universe responds by bringing us circumstances that match that frequency. Our emotional state serves as a powerful amplifier of the energy we project. Thoughts alone have a certain level of influence, but when paired with emotions, they become even more potent. If we think about success but feel doubt and fear, our dominant vibration remains one of uncertainty, which ultimately attracts experiences that reinforce that uncertainty. However, if we not only think about success but also feel the emotions associated with already achieving it, confidence, gratitude, excitement, we align ourselves with that reality more quickly. This is why those who embody a strong sense of certainty and belief in their goals often seem to achieve them effortlessly. Their entire being is broadcasting a signal that attracts success. The subconscious mind plays a crucial role in maintaining our energetic state. Because it operates based on past programming, it often keeps us in the same thought and emotional loops unless we actively intervene. If we have been conditioned to expect struggle, our subconscious will continue to generate thoughts and emotions that align with that expectation, perpetuating a cycle of difficulty. This is why it is essential to consciously direct our focus and emotions to what we want to experience, rather than allowing old patterns to dictate our reality. The more we train ourselves to shift our emotional state, the more we can influence the energetic signal we send out. One of the most effective ways to elevate our energy is through intentional gratitude. Gratitude is a high-frequency emotion that instantly shifts our focus from what is lacking to what is abundant. When we practice gratitude daily, we rewire our brain to look for the good in every situation, which raises our vibrational frequency and attracts more experiences that align with that state of being. The key is to not just think about what we are grateful for, but to truly feel it in the body. When gratitude is deeply felt, it creates a magnetic field around us that draws in even more reasons to be grateful. Visualization is another powerful technique for shifting our energetic state. When we vividly imagine a desired outcome with strong emotion, we activate the same neural circuits as if we were actually experiencing it. This sends a clear signal to the universe that we are aligning with that reality. The key to effective visualization is to engage all the senses: seeing, hearing, feeling, even smelling and tasting the experience. The more detailed and emotionally charged the visualization, the stronger the energetic imprint it leaves on the subconscious mind and the quantum field. The body also plays a critical role in shifting energy. Our posture, movements, and breathing patterns directly influence our emotional state. which in turn affects the frequency we emit. When we stand tall, breathe deeply, and move with intention, we send signals to the brain that we are in a state of confidence and empowerment. On the other hand, slouched posture, shallow breathing, and tense muscles reinforce states of stress, fear, and limitation. This is why practices like yoga, breath work, and dance can be so transformative. They allow us to embody new energetic states, making it easier to sustain high vibrations. The words we use shape the energy we carry. Language is not just a tool for communication, it is a carrier of frequency. When we constantly speak about problems, limitations, and frustrations, we reinforce those energetic states and attract more of the same. However, when we consciously choose words that reflect possibility, abundance, and success, we shift our vibrational output. This is why affirmations, when spoken with conviction and emotion, can be so powerful. They help rewire the subconscious mind while simultaneously broadcasting a new energetic frequency to the universe. Our external environment also influences the energy we emit. The people we surround ourselves with, the media we consume, and even the spaces we inhabit all contribute to our vibrational state. If we are constantly exposed to negativity, fear, and doubt, our energy is affected, and we begin to operate at a lower frequency. On the other hand, when we surround ourselves with uplifting individuals, inspiring content, and environments that support growth, we naturally raise our energetic state. This is why curating our surroundings with intention is crucial to maintaining a high vibrational frequency. Music, sound, and frequency play a direct role in influencing our energetic state. Certain sounds and frequencies have been shown to alter brainwave activity, shifting us into states of relaxation, focus, or heightened awareness. Listening to high-frequency music, such as classical compositions, binaural beats, or nature sounds, can help elevate our vibration and bring the body and mind into coherence. Similarly, the act of chanting, singing, or even humming can shift internal energy, breaking patterns of stress and resistance. Energy is not just about thoughts and emotions, it also manifests through action. When we take inspired action aligned with our desires, we reinforce the energetic frequency of that intention. Procrastination and hesitation lower our vibration, creating stagnation, whereas decisive action generates momentum and attracts synchronicities that support our goals. The key is to act from a place of trust and alignment rather than fear or desperation. When our actions are infused with belief and enthusiasm, we send a strong signal to the universe that we are ready to receive what we desire. Breath is one of the most immediate ways to shift energy. Deep, conscious breathing brings more oxygen to the brain, calms the nervous system, and increases overall vitality. When we are stressed or fearful, our breath becomes shallow and restricted, reinforcing a low vibrational state. By simply taking slow, deep breaths, we can instantly change our internal energy, creating a greater sense of clarity, peace, and presence. Breathwork practices such as rhythmic breathing or alternate nostril breathing can be powerful tools for clearing energetic blockages and raising our frequency.